Let's jump straight into it. So, Chad Townsend, you're here back on the channel again, and you've made a decision. Let us know the news, mate.
Yeah, so a pretty big decision for my family and I today. Phoenix have made the decision to retire from the NRL at the end of the season. I sit here today with just a lot of love and gratitude for my journey in the NRL. I've been lucky enough to play in the NRL for the last 15 years, made my debut in 2011, played for 4 teams. I've had so many wonderful moments, memories, experiences, a lot of ups, a few downs, plenty of laughs, some tears as well. But all in all, just an incredible experience from the game of rugby league. I started playing footy when I was 5 years old, and 30 years later, it's time to hang up the boots. So look, I sit here today, like I said, with a lot of love and a lot of gratitude for my journey, and I've made the decision, and I'm really excited for the future.
Well, congratulations, mate, and you definitely you've made a huge impact across so many people. But let's talk about that decision to retire. So, how did that come about? So, obviously, I think you're 34. You've had a long time in the game, as you said. What was the sort of point where you decided to make the call?
Yeah, I think it's been on my mind for probably the past 2 years, to be honest. I had a look at retirement at the end of last season. I had a look overseas at the end of last season after my time with the Cowboys. But ultimately, the decision to take on the 1-year deal back in Sydney was what was, I guess, the most or the best thing for my family. I heard from an ex-teammate of mine that said, when you know, you know. And I feel like I know that now. I've been pushing myself both physically and mentally for such a long time. And, this season, obviously getting through preseason, and it was extremely hard and difficult. And, this season probably hasn't played out to the standards that I would have liked, especially on the field. Like, I felt like I've added a lot of value, off the field to our younger guys in our squad at the Roosters. But on the field, I don't think I've played as well as I would have liked. And, contributing factor with that, obviously, I am getting older. I've spent 15 years putting myself first, and now it's time to put my family first. I want to spend more time with my family, and there's things outside of the game, outside of being a player, that are pulling me away from playing. So, look, I'm very happy that the decision is now made. I've had a lot of friends and family kind of ask me what I'm up to next year, and, I've sort of sat on the decision for a while. I've really wanted to think it through, but very happy today to come to the decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations again, mate. So, when you were coming up with that decision, were there other offers on the table?
No, not this year. I think last year, like I said, we had a really good look over in England. Spoke to multiple teams, and I guess last year my number one preference was to get my family back to Sydney. And this year we had a slight look in England. I knew that if I wanted to play next year, that I'm not stupid. I know it would have been overseas. And at the start of the year, I was definitely open to that. My manager went over to England and had some, very premature conversations about myself. But ultimately, the decision was in my hands. And if I was pushing to play, I feel like I could have found, somewhere to play, somewhere in the world. But, like I said, I'm very comfortable with my decision to not play anymore. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've given it everything that I've got. And I know that, today, after making this decision, I'm very comfortable with, what I've done, what I've achieved in the game, and what I've earned in the game, and the experiences I've had, the people I've met. And it's a pretty cool feeling, but also, daunting going through this whole process for the first time. It's a little bit scary, you know what I mean? I don't know how it all plays out, to be honest with you.
Well, what was that moment like? Was there a specific moment where you decided, yep, it is time? Was it, telling your family, or what was that decision moment like emotionally?
Yeah, it's a really crazy feeling, to be honest. I live in the Shire, and I drive into Moore Park for training with the Roosters every day. So I spend about an hour and a half in the day in the car by myself, listening to music. And there's been multiple times in the car where I've just been in tears, just getting emotional about my journey throughout football. And there was one day where I just came home and I just burst into tears and said to my wife, like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And it's not until you actually say it out loud that I think it really affects you. Like, it's okay to kind of think about it and like the possibilities of retirement. And then it was one weekend, actually, my brother-in-law, Scott Sorensen, was over. And this was a couple of days after my wife and I just had that conversation. And he asked me, oh, mate, like, what are you up to next year? And if it was for the first time, I actually said to someone, yeah, like, I'm going to retire. And it actually brought tears to my eyes, you know what I mean? Just the realization and actually saying it out loud. And obviously telling my kids was quite emotional as well. My kids are, 7, 5, 4, and 2. They're very young. They don't understand football, but every day they're like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, Dad's going to training. You know what I mean? So it's been an emotional time, I guess, throughout the year. And I guess that's all from the fact that I've got so much. I've got so much from the game of rugby league. My friends, my family. Just the game's given me everything, and I'm just very grateful for that.
Mate, that's absolutely beautiful. I'm almost getting emotional just hearing you talk about it. But yeah, you've done so much in your career, and if you were, like, I assume now you've had a lot of time to reflect and look back at your career, and I assume there's going to be a lot of tears coming. But if you were to look back at your career now, you had a favorite memory or something that really stood out, what would that be?
Yeah, Phoenix, there's a couple. I think, obviously, the first one that comes to mind is the 2016 premiership with Cronulla. To be the only local junior to be in that team. I grew up watching the Sharks. I was a Sharks fan. I used to go and wave my flag on the family hill. And then to be out there making my NRL debut for the Sharks was another one. Getting named co-captain of the North Queensland Cowboys was another one. Playing my 250th game. There's all sorts of, I guess, moments on the field, but I guess, it's hard to go past the premiership. To be the first halfback in the history of the club to win a premiership as a local junior is something that'll stick with me forever. And, I was lucky enough to have a lot of pretty cool moments, throughout the course of my career.
So what's next then? What are you getting up to now in post-retirement? Have you made a decision, or is it just getting to that retirement decision and now just seeing what's out there?
Yeah, I think for me, like, I've had, I've definitely, I think it's no secret, I've put myself out there with regards to, media and TV and radio and sports media and podcasts and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. I really enjoy that. And I've had discussions in the background over the past couple of months about what that potentially looks like. At this stage, I don't have a definitive answer about exactly what I'll be doing, but my passion is still involved in rugby league, and whether that's in the media or in coaching, I'd love to still be involved in the game. That's just given me so much, and I feel like I'll probably be chasing a media career as much as I can. I enjoy talking about footy, about sports, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think, stay tuned for an update with regards to exactly what I'm up to. But there's no doubt I'll probably be putting content and videos out there about, when that decision's made.
Well, mate, congratulations on an incredible career. Congratulations on making the decision and doing the right thing for your family, and mate, I couldn't thank you more enough for deciding as well to talk about it on Zero Tackle as well. And of course, we're going to be collaborating a lot more in the future. So yeah, you're not going anywhere, are you?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Phoenix. Yeah, look, I've really enjoyed working with you guys. I guess the start of our relationship moving forward, and I guess Zero Tackle is something that I've seen, online for a long time, and I know you guys put out some good content, and all through, the greatest game of all, which is rugby league. You know what I mean? It's the best game. It's given us so many great memories and moments over the past, over time. So I look forward to contributing to that in a different way in the future.
Absolutely. Well, I think I've said it about 5 times, but again, congratulations, mate. It's an inspiring story, and thanks again for coming on and breaking the news here.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. Thank you.